Morning traders, and this is your Aussie day trade setup for today. So just starting off from the daily, just wanted to point out a few things here. The first thing is this daily channel has broken, it broke on Thursday. We had the gap up, and we're now bouncing off the 200 EMA at the moment. Now, this that we see at the moment is pretty critical. I think we just come down to lower time frames because that is potentially a island reversal, or on the daily, it's a potential sort of shooting star. So, sort of a break below the low or the high is what's going to dictate the direction at the moment. Okay, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable jumping in right here. I want to see some structure form. And for me, the ideal structure would be a retest down the bottom here. So a retest of the 3-hour 200 EMA or of this trend line break. That's a good 500 points. Okay, so there is also a little bit of there's a trend there, but I think that's the trend we want to basically put in place. So that would come back to the alligator. Okay. Anyway, let's just move straight on at the lower time frames. The trend has changed. There's no doubt about that, and you can see as soon as we start going into the hour, you can see lots of structure. So rally, channel rally, and I bet you the measured move was definitely there or thereabouts. Okay, so measured move of this is played out on the hour. So what I'm looking for is more structure. And if you look at the hour, there is actually more structure forming here. That's the middle. So what we have here is pretty much another channel. A little bit smaller, but definitely another channel. So what I'm looking for is breaks to the upside. If we do by some chance get a break to the downside, I'm really would expect the gap to close. And then I'd expect to find some support somewhere in this, let's put a box in here, somewhere around there. Okay, there's just too much going on. You see, we've got tails, and we've got a 200 EMA, and we've got a gap. So there's so much going on in there. I do expect buyers would be waiting in that zone. At this stage, Friday trade war was fine, and then at the close it was a partial deal. So the US markets fell off a bit at the close on Friday, but nevertheless, they've got some kind of resolution on the trade. So what's happened is you can see the dollar is getting a bit of a hiding. So the rand dollar 14.76, which is pretty nice for us, but not so good for the market. And if I look at 10 cent is up 1.5% at the moment. US markets did finish up, but Hang Seng is up at the moment. Sorry, Hang Seng is flat, not up. Interesting. Okay, so what it all boils down to is we do have earnings season starting today, and that could throw another spanner in the works here. So the thing is, on the earnings season, the banks are expected to take a hammering on the US this earnings season, and the interesting thing is going to be the retailers, because the Chinese data at the moment is that their exports in dollar value is down 10%. So that would arguably mean that the retailers in the US have had fewer products coming in and fewer products to sell. And I can't see the Americans having other products that the Chinese have been selling them there for years. So I think we have to wait and see. There's still going to be a lot of cautious trading, in other words. Okay, so looking at the 30-minute chart, if you looking carefully here, you will see, ignore this last bar, that's nonsense data, but that is our current structure that we have. and it looks very much like a double top. Okay, so doesn't mean it's a reversal. It just means, and that's probably the area where structure will form, it just means that it is pointing to a gap close. Okay, only thing that's not agreeing with us is the oscillator here. Okay, so in other words, the oscillator is rather indicating that we should be worried about that. Okay, so for me anyway, those are the two fractal levels we need to watch. So break below 49.941 gives us, I wouldn't aim for the gap, I'd really just aim for this 49.669, and a break above 51.64 would give us the next measured move. And the next measured move is fairly long because it's from this break, which is here. So that would take us up to around 51.050. And if I just go to okay, so we've got two gaps to the upside as well. So you can see this gap here wasn't closed, and it lines up with an inside tail here right over there. So the first target would pretty much be 53.48 to the upside, and then next target, I suppose, rather be safe. Next target will be 56.25, and the target after that is going to be 57.42, and then we have 58.55, and then lastly is going to be 51.051. Okay, so there's quite a few targets to the upside here, and that's kind of, so I just want to double check this measured move. Yeah, we're correct. That's kind of the structure that I've got at the moment. And there are no other fractals on the 12 minute either. So those are the two fractal levels that we're looking to break. So I'm looking for a break above the high of Friday, 51.64. Then there is a pretty interesting long, your stop is going to be around 350 points. And make sure you can trade that. But the reward is going to be fairly interesting because first take profit 250 points, then 500 points, then 670 points, 700 points, and then 972 points. And, no. Okay, so that's kind of the levels we've got to get through. Okay, so I mean that's me for today. If we do break the downside, and looking at the alligator, how it's gone to sleep on Friday, there is an outside possibility that we do come back down and sort of close this gap or find some support down here, which is also probable based on earnings seasons as well. So in other words, the US markets just sort of go sideways until we start getting the bigger earnings come through, which will then drive the market further. Okay, so it's a buy the dip strategy still, and I'm pretty comfortable with, I'll be comfortable holding longs this week in actual fact. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Hope it helps, and catch up with you later. Cheers for now.